Hi everyone, my name is Twinkle and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to cover up a highly requested topic, which is the recruitment process or interview stages and details for cabin crew position for British Airways Indian base. Yes, you heard that right. British Airways has been currently hiring and recruiting cabin crew from India to serve their Indian passenger profile. Cabin crew which would be based in India but will be flying international skies with the award-winning cabin crew team of British Airways. So if you are someone who's interested to join British Airways, then keep on watching. So in this video, I would be covering two types of applications. First, about the Indian cabin crew to be based in India, and the second would be cabin crew based in London Heathrow that needs sponsorship and free right to work in the UK, which will not be sponsored by the airline. So if you're anyone who has the visa, the sponsorship and the right to work in the UK, could consider the position of cabin crew based in London Heathrow. Apart from that, any Indian cabin crew who wishes to work with British Airways and would like to apply for a position wherein you would be based in India. So all you need to do is visit British Airways careers page. Let me just go ahead and take you to the British Airways careers page where I can show you the difference between the two types of vacancies that are available for you to apply. So let's look at this page. When you go ahead and you check out the careers page of British Airways, you click on cabin crew and then you fill up the space with cabin crew keyword. Once you click on that, you can see there are various roles right here. One of them is cabin crew Heathrow, one of them is cabin crew Bangalore. These are the two applications that we are concerned at the moment. So if you're someone who is looking forward to apply for cabin crew Heathrow, if you go ahead and read the requirements, the company does not provide a visa sponsorship. You should have a right to work in the UK, and that is something that they will not sponsor you for. So if you're someone who has the free right or visa sponsorship and all of that is covered at your end, you can go ahead and definitely apply for this position. The next one that we're looking out here is the cabin crew Bangalore. But before that, let me just give you a quick idea of what happens if you apply for the former position, which is the cabin crew London Heathrow. Once you go ahead, create an account on official website, you submit your CV, you will get an invite for an online screening. So there will be a few tests which will be based on MCQ approach, which is the multiple choice questions approach. There are 4 tests, namely logical reasoning, verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning and situational judgment tests. These tests are generally designed to check your suitability with the role. They will also check the desired skills that are required for the role, if you as a candidate possess them or no. These tests would have a few mathematical related questions, English tests, some situations thrown at you, and they would check what is your response to those situations, because simply you would be dealing with those situations on an everyday basis. Based on the result of these questions, you would be invited for your next stage, which is the virtual live interview one-on-one post a presentation. However, you need to show a document which talks about your visa and your sponsorship part, and you would be required to select a date and a time slot once you're ready with your documents to go ahead and continue with your live interview one-on-one. You could absolutely consider that this is going to be one of the lengthiest interviews, since the time slots are such, and we're going to talk about this when I cover the Indian cabin crew interview stages, because they are quite similar. Right. So as you see on the screen right here, if you talk about the process, which is also briefly explained on their website. So before you go ahead with their virtual assessment center, you need to show them and complete a right to work and uniform check initially, only after which they will allow you to go ahead and attend the presentation and their virtual live interview. So if you're someone who does not have all these documents, might not even consider this position. However, if you're someone who completes this, you can expect to give a live interview, and then you will go ahead and sign the contract once you are selected. There would be some pre-employment checks later on, which will include a criminal record check, financial probability, and full 5-year pre-employment airside checks, which will also ask you to book your medical, uniform fitting, height and reach functionality assessment, and security interview appointment. These could be a few things before you actually go ahead and join the cabin crew training, which would be taken care by a third party, their training partner, which is Sky People. Before attending your cabin crew new entrant training, if you're someone who does not have a cabin crew attestation card, which is if you are not a experienced cabin crew, you would not have the same, you'd have to go through this training as well. So this is just a brief of how your process would be in case you're the one who's applying for cabin crew London Heathrow. Now coming on to the cabin crew Bangalore base or Chennai base or any other Indian base. As you can see on the screen here, cabin crew Bangalore is the position once you go back. So once you click on this position, go ahead and read the requirements. We'll quickly cover up the requirements. So their requirements are very basic. The minimum age has to be 18 and upwards. So if you're anyone who's 18 plus can apply. And they encourage people from all age groups, which means that there is no maximum age limit criteria. You're all good to go. Completion of HSC, which is your 12th grade, higher secondary certificate or a graduate, both are welcome. There is no other educational qualification requirement. Diploma you have, course you have, or you don't have, it's absolutely fine. You can go ahead and apply. For people who ask me questions like if you are currently pursuing a graduation, your masters or any other course, can they apply? Yes, they can go ahead and absolutely apply for the same. However, this is your own responsibility of how you're going to complete your education. Next is able to fluently write and speak English, Kannada and Hindi. So yes, if you were someone who was applying for Chennai, their requirement was English, Tamil and Hindi. Here their requirement is to be fluently able to write and speak in English, Kannada and Hindi. In possession of a valid Indian passport, which is valid for minimum 1 year. Minimum height criteria 5'2", anything less than that will not be entertained, and maximum is 6'2", which is anything more than that will not be entertained. Minimum 1 year of customer service experience in a face-to-face role and as a part of team is preferred. This only means there is no mandatory requirement that you have a customer service experience or working as a part of a team, but this is an experience which is preferred. Mind you, not BPO experience or somewhere you were working in an organization where your role was restricted to calling or email interactions, but face-to-face interactions is preferred, and if it was as a part of a team, then nothing better than that. So to apply, you go ahead and send in these 4 documents right here on the screen. Copy of your education and work experience certificates. When we talk about work experience certificates, has to be your employment letter, or if you've resigned, your relieving letter, your experience letter. Copies of education, your highest education certificate, whatever is the highest. If you're a graduate, then graduate, masters, then masters, high school, then high school. A copy of your passport, recent passport size and full length photograph, has to be business formals, not business casuals or in a casual attire. Has to be business formals, formal photographs, so please make note of that. A local contact telephone number and mobile number. So they're asking you for a landline number and a mobile number, because what happens next is something that involves a telephonic interview. So if here you go wrong, you might not even hear from them very soon. Another tip, I would highly advise you, because now this process is being taken care by a third party consultants in India. I would highly advise you to apply as soon as you see the vacancy, because their resumes are selected on first come first basis, which is why if you are someone who must have applied very late, they might not have even considered you, or you wouldn't have heard from them, since they only take up a few candidates, whoever applies first. So checking one of your competencies, go ahead and be prepared, not the one who's the last to apply, waiting for the last day to get their documents and their application ready. So once you're ready with all your documents, click on this email and you see, please send them all your required documents with a nice formal email and click send and wait for them to revert. what happens next is you can be expecting a phone interview to happen. So somebody calls you out of nowhere. Yes, out of nowhere. You have to be prepared, because when I was speaking to most of the candidates, they were surprised when they got calls. However, I would say as soon as you apply, be prepared that they would call you in a week or 2 weeks. There's no time frame which is fixed. They would do that. And expect a phone interview. So be prepared for a phone interview. If you're looking for tips on phone interview, please go ahead and follow my Instagram. I'd leave the link in the description box. I keep on sharing tips on how to clear interview and what types of interviews, and all sorts of information that could help you become a cabin crew or join another customer service industry, be it hospitality or aviation. Once you email your documents and apply for British Airways vacancy, the third party name Transition HRD, yes, that is the consultants, they get in touch with you and they conduct a phone interview. And the questions are very basic. Why do you want to become a cabin crew? How would you handle an angry customer? What does service mean to you? What do you understand by customer service? Or why do you want to join British Airways? Why do you want to become a cabin crew? All these questions you should be prepared for. These are basic questions, and these are the questions that they are going to check you for initially. Once you clear this stage, you can expect a confirmation call which checks the following things. They would be confirming with you your height, your qualification, your passport validity, your swimming ability, swimming qualification, tattoos, scars, if they are at all visible in uniform. If you have any, declare them. All these details, once you're verbally confirming them, the team will be sending you a Google form, and here is what the Google form looks like, and here are the questions that are asked in the Google form, which are basically the repetition of what they ask you on call. So here you can have a look at the Google form, and here are the things that they ask you to fill. Once you fill this form completely and you submit it, you can expect an invite for your interview on Google Teams, Microsoft Google Teams. I would try and affix the email here so you can see what all is included in that email and what is the next stage. So basically there is a 1 hour presentation, a webinar where they will explain you about the functioning, the induction, and there will be a presentation which will be conducted by British Airways and their cabin crew and recruiters and their onboarding team. A few more pieces of information which is really important and most probably that you've been waiting for is the salary, the contract, what would be the commission, what sectors would you be flying. So yes, this information would also be shared during your presentation. So the salary, the most important point that you've been waiting for is the salary is around 4,80,000 annually. This is the annual basic salary, which is around 40,000 per month. Another point is the supplementary allowance, which is as much as 2,40,000 annually, somewhere around 20,000 per month. So all in all, your salary would be around 60,000, somewhere around that basic, plus an allowance of 20,000 per month with an elapsed hourly rate of 3.32 pounds. Yes, that's the rate for hourly flying allowance. In-flight sales commission would be depending upon how many sales you make, and a percentage would be given, that is around 20%. Hotline tickets and discounts, so you would be getting the benefit of discounted tickets, yeah. And staff travel, you can start to take the benefit of discounted staff travel or annual tickets, whatever is there, and your nominees can very much use that benefit after 6 months of your probation period. After 6 months, which is after your probation period, so you cannot have them as soon as you join the company. It is only going to happen after 6 months. And very important thing, you will be on a fixed term contract of 3 years, which is renewable only based on your performance. So yes, this is the contract, 3 years contract, renewable only based on your performance.
Something very important is that you would be based in India and you will only be doing London sector. So if you're someone who's been recruited from Delhi, you would only do Delhi, London, London, Delhi. Someone who's been recruited out of Bangalore, the only sector they would do is Bangalore, London, London, Bangalore. So you wouldn't be flying to any other destinations, and you wouldn't be flying with any multicultural or multilingual whatever crew you're thinking. You will be only having Indian crew on board, and that is the only sector you will be flying. So if at all you had any confusion, I'm sure I have cleared your misconceptions. Apart from that, another very, very important thing is once you complete your virtual interview, you will be notified whether you're rejected or you are on hold or you have to continue via an email. Yes, you will be on hold, and if selected, you will have to give another final interview, which will be conducted, and you'll be notified via an email. Not just that, once you're selected, your SCAR checks, tattoos, everything will be on hold. Once you complete the medicals, once you clear their criteria, their checks, their background checks, security checks, uniform checks, all of their requirements, you will only be meeting someone from the team, that too in your own country, in India, for your arm reach and weight checks. Once you clear that, you are supposed to attend a 1 month training online, and you're supposed to pass few examinations. Only once you are eligible, you complete that training 100%, will you be eligible to get a training of 5 weeks in the UK. Yes, once you clear the requirements, your medicals, everything is all set, you clear their criteria, you will be selected to be invited to the UK to complete a 5-week intensive training, post which you will be continuing flying from your base to London and London to your base back.
Once you're done with that, you will be expected to complete a language test. There is a paragraph which is sent to different people. The paragraph is not the same. It is a public announcement basically, which mostly different people are sent, and the paragraphs are also different. You have to basically translate them in the language they need you to be fluent in. It could be Kannada, could be Tamil, and that would be your language test, and you'll be required to translate that in your test. Once you complete that, you will be taken to virtual live interview. Yes, there would be a recruiter from British Airways that will be conducting your live virtual interview, and you can expect this to be one of the lengthiest interviews. Yes guys, the session can go as long as 30 to 40 minutes, and you can expect all types of questions, be it behavioral questions, situational judgment questions, resume based questions, basic questions, company related questions, verification questions, basically all 8 categories of questions. If you're someone who is looking forward to prepare for their interview and they need live coaching, you can go ahead and check on my website. I have conducted a 15-day live interview coaching program that helps you crack most of the international airlines. If you're someone who's interested, I will leave the link for the program and my website in the description box, and you can check that out. Or you can also email me at anand.twinkle@gmail.com if you want to know more about the program. A few questions as an example that could be asked from you is, why do you want to work as a part of cabin crew team for British Airways? Why British Airways? How would you work as a part of a team if the team has failed? How would you deal with pressure? What if one of your team members is not pulling their weight? What would you do if your manager is not doing 100% correct? How would you deal with stress? How would you deal with an irate customer? How would you deal, or have you dealt with a situation, or tell me about a situation where you exceeded expectations, or you went out of the way to help a customer. All of these questions can be from your past experience or from your personal experience, doesn't matter, but they want to know what is your thinking, what is your mindset when you're asked a question related to how would you behave in a certain situation that only talks about what you think. And usually whatever you answer, the recruiter is trying to gauge what would be your behavior, what would be your action once you deal with such kind of situations on everyday basis. So your answer decides your behavior in future situations. So you have to be really prepared for these interview questions. once if you're done with this and you clear, you will hear from them through an email. And congratulations, you will be able to onboard and complete the same things, a security check and your uniform check, and you will be guided further on your recruitment process. However, this can take as long as 6 to 7 months as well, so you need to be patient. If at all you're not successful, you can see yourself getting an email, a rejection email, which looks like this. This is on the screen, and you can expect to get it even after 2 to 3 weeks of your interview. So yes, that was all about the interview process for British Airways. If you have any experience, any other details to share, any other opinions like that, any suggestions, any other information that you'd like to add on, please feel free to share it with us. Put it down in the comment box below, and I would be looking forward to read your messages. Till that time, if you like this video, if you found this information helpful, please like the video and share it with someone who needs to see this. I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.